Yeah, I mean, we can kind of just jump right into it, man. Like, it won't be too long,
Yeah.
but we can kind of chat about what you guys are doing. And like I was telling you earlier, so I was part of, I participated in the tournament for the first time.
Yeah.
I think it was a couple of months ago, right? And
Yeah, we did it back
we,
what like it was in March or yeah,
yeah,
end of March.
yeah. So for those of you that don't know, I mean, I'm getting up there in age right now, so for me to see a tournament that was for 30-plus-year-olds that cater to that, I'm like, I'm in, man. I'm gonna throw my hat in the tournament, and we had a good run. We made it to the semis, and
Yeah.
we lost a close game to my friend's team, Sadik.
Yeah.
His team was really good. So, but I mean, before we kind of chat into it, why don't you just introduce yourself to our audience and just let them know a bit about yourself and what your organization's name is and what you guys do.
Yeah, sure thing. So my name is Sartaj Syed. I am the current founder and director of My Legacy, which is a nonprofit organization that me and my friends started back in 2022. And we pretty much focus on building a foundation for the Muslim community and I guess the community at large that are also non-Muslims with faith,
Right.
fitness, and charity. Predominantly, we have been very active with sports. So we've done all kinds of events that are catered towards basketball. We've been trying to expand on, volleyball, indoor cricket, and other various sports. Pretty much anywhere, if people as a community come up to us and ask us, "Hey, can you organize this activity?" Then we say yes. Like we have the resources and tools, and we can make it happen.
And talk about the tournaments you guys are doing this year or this summer for basketball. I know you had a few earlier this year, but you've got a few more coming up. Who are you catering that to? And I'm always interested in knowing, like, it's really interesting to see how you've sort of have different tournaments for different age groups and cater to like an older age group. So why was that done, and what has been a success so far for My Legacy?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question that you bring up. You know, with basketball, like I really enjoy the sport myself, and I know people around me enjoy it as well. There's a lot of tournaments that other organizations out there cater to, but it's mostly a demographics where it's like you have your teenage kids coming out of high school or university college kids, and then I've always said if I'm still playing basketball, I still want to compete, and if I'm
Yeah.
competing, I want to compete with people of my age level or even skill level, right? And I mean, this year we've said, let's try to make the games more interesting. Let's try to see if
Yeah.
we can reach out to the demographics that are the 30 plus. The 40 plus is something that we're actually doing this Saturday too, and
Nice.
that's like more older participants coming out from different regions that are looking to play shorter games that are going to be fun, right?
Yeah.
And inshallah, like we're also looking to do other creative divisions in the future where maybe we have something where it's like a heavyweight division for people that are like 200 plus that want to play, right? Pretty much, like I said, we try to cater towards a certain demographic or a certain niche of groups of people that we know of, and the games get better from there on that point, and people come out, they have fun, they enjoy it, and then they keep looking forward to the next event that we try to host.
I was really impressed with the organization that you guys had when I came. Like for me, it was the first tournament I've played in a very long time. So I can't remember the last time I played in a tournament. It was probably pre-COVID.
Right.
So going into this tournament, I was kind of nervous, scared, and I'm like, man, it's will I be able to run up and down the court? But playing against other people my age, my skill level, I
Yeah.
realized that, what, it's not about how good you are, but it's just about having fun, right? At this age. So I
Yeah.
think catering to that is an excellent idea.
Like I said, like the message that we want to push across is that like you shouldn't be too worried about
Yeah.
who you are as a person when you come out to our events. We try to make it as welcoming as possible for the person so then they kind of fit in naturally, and then it's like a development stage. Especially with some of our recent events, where it's people that have not played basketball since, like, COVID took place, right?
Right.
They've kind of dropped it, and then now they're slowly getting back into it. And like we're saying, a healthy lifestyle is what everyone wants, right?
Right.
As we get older, people are like looking for avenues where they can actually be active physically, get away from the stress of life, whatever the case is. And then I say, hey, like, if you can play basketball, if you can play soccer, whatever the case is, just come out, play,
Yeah.
participate. And maybe that can help you to build up a habit of where you're
Yeah.
saying, you know what, I actually enjoyed playing the tournament. Now I actually want to play with the same people on a
Right.
consistent basis.
I agree. And for me, like personally, playing pickup or in a tournament right now, it's a good way to get away too, right?
Yep.
So it's almost like therapy where you look forward to playing, and now it's also about staying in shape. So you kind
Yep.
of kill two birds with one stone. But in terms of like basketball itself, like what is it about the sport of basketball that really drew you from a young age? What is it for me? I mean, I just love the sport and watching it growing up. But what about you? What is it about basketball that really grew on you?
I think it was more of an influence of the people around me. So as growing up, a lot of the people used to play like the various sports, and basketball was one of them.
Yeah,
I tried playing the other sports too, and like, I wasn't really excelling in it. Basketball was something very easy and natural. Growing up, it was something that allowed me to connect with the people that lived around me, the community members. It became like a universal language for a lot of
yeah,
people, right? And then like growing up, going into like, high school, university, everyone just talked a lot of basketball,
yeah,
and it seemed at that time like the right choice, right? Like you want to learn more about the sport, be active in it, organize it, play in it, watch it, whatever the case was. And it was good, I guess, for myself, because then it's not only fitting within the community, but it's also like the escape that you're looking for from like your general
yeah.
day to day life that you have, right? It
Right.
calms us down. The way I look at it is, hey man, if there's a hoop outside, I just want to go shoot.
Yeah,
Forget about the rest of the world. It's very calming.
yeah, yeah. No, hundred
And
percent.
then like, going into organizing the sports, like it's a challenge on its own, but then it's rewarding at the same time too, because
Right.
there's so many people similar to you
Yeah,
that have the love and passion for the sport, and you're like trying to bring them all under one roof, and see the different type of people of different skills, and like, I guess different calibers of games that they bring into it, right?
yeah. Right.
So
Right.
I think overall, it just basketball in general for me was just like, you know what, it's like a stress relief. I love it. I enjoy it, and I hope that maybe one day I can pass it on to my kids,
Yeah.
where even they enjoy the sport, and hopefully the people in the community at large.
Yeah, and there's so much good talent out there. I mean, like when I was at the tournament, that was just what I saw, but I'm sure above and beyond that, there in your other divisions, there's a lot of great talent out there in our community.
Yeah,
So it's amazing to see how far these kids have come. I grew up uh, in the Vince Carter era, right? That's
yeah,
when I started to enjoy the sport, and he was a big reason as to why I loved basketball, and since I've been a fan. But I look at
yeah.
my younger brothers, I look at the guys in their 20s or in the teenagers now, like it's just the talent level is just unbelievable, man.
I mean, take a look at how the game has evolved, right? Like
Yeah,
even I myself grew up watching Vince Carter, and that was one of the
yeah,
reasons of loving basketball. I
right.
still remember till this day when my dad got us a pair of tickets to go watch Raptors versus the Sonics, and
Nice.
like you're just there to watch Vince Carter doing all the
Yeah,
dunks. Any highlight like, action that you got to see, it was a moment. Obviously now the game has grown to a point where dunks aren't everything. It's
yeah,
all about the 3 points and like the craziest plays and the in-game action moments that happen. But yeah, I mean, basketball is something that just connects everybody in general. Like from
yeah,
old to young, everyone can relate to it. All you need is a bounce and
yeah.
that hoop.
That's
As soon
it.
as you hear the swish, that's the universal language. It's like
It
connection's
is.
been made.
Absolutely, man. I love that. So, how are you able to kind of keep things in check? Because I know being an organizer or being the head of an organization, it's very difficult and challenging. But I mean, I saw you in action, and that was the first time I met you,
Yeah.
but it was so smooth. But I'm sure in the background there's things that are happening. Like, what is it about yourself and your team that you're able to put on such a successful tournament, like, year after year, month after month?
Alhamdulillah, like I have a very good team with me. There are young individuals that were passionate about the nonprofit, the vision that we have, the sport in general. Everyone has like a designated role, and then they support you where they can, right?
Yeah,
And like with the amount of events that we've done, even like on a personal level, like I used to organize sports back in the day for when I was part of my high school, part of university,
right,
outside of university, up till now, even with this nonprofit the amount of years that have went by, we've learned from every event saying, okay, like how do we tweak it? How do we make it better? How do we
right,
make sure that there's no hiccups? Because the last thing that you want is something to go wrong and then it spoils the entire I guess aroma of the event that
yeah,
you're trying to sell towards people, right? In our situation, alhamdulillah, like the people that come out, they kind of understand who we are. We're not an organization where we're saying, "Oh, we're doing this to benefit off of anybody." If anything, we say the tournaments or even anything that we do, it's for the players by the players. So
yeah,
sometimes even the people that are helping us out are actual active players that are at the tournament,
right,
whether it's scorekeeping or doing the social media stuff or even helping us out with like bringing pizza. I
yeah,
mean, everyone needs to be fed, right? So,
yeah,
alhamdulillah, having the right company around you and people that are passionate about it and they want to help you to see it grow, they come willingly themselves to help you out.
yeah,
And I always say that there's always a place for everybody, especially with our nonprofit organization, My
yeah,
Legacy. We've always told people if you have like, time where you would like to put towards something noteworthy, something that you believe in, come join us. Like, we have all kinds of projects that we want to work on. There's some projects
right,
that people bring in themselves, and then we say, yeah, like Alhamdulillah, recently I had a revert brother that came to know about us. He helped us connect with some of the masjids. And
nice,
then on top of that, he said, you know what, bro, like I want to join your organization and I want to do something for the reverts community, right? The people
yeah,
that have come into the fold of Islam because there's nobody really catering towards them with situations that come up.
right,
So I told them, you know what, like come on board. Like, we can do a lot of things. Like not it doesn't necessarily just have to be sports, but
yeah,
we are trying to be as community focused as possible with our programs as well.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's fantastic, and I know like sports is such a good way to, I would say, keep you connected with the right crowd and the
Yeah,
right community.
yeah.
Like for me, and I'm sure for yourself as well, growing up, um, sports kept me out of trouble. You know,
Oh yeah, hands down.
I was busy with sports. I was busy with basketball. You don't have time for other stuff, other shenanigans. And alhamdulillah, like, I always, and I tell my kids, I tell my brother the same thing, is that, trying to get more involved in your deen and your religion.
Yeah,
uh, you spend time in the masjid, but you also have the brotherhood aspect of it as well. So
yeah,
when you're out there playing in a healthy competition, healthy environment with your brothers or sisters, like that itself is so rewarding, right?
yeah,
And with the right intention, like it can, like I have friends to this day that, I grew up playing when I was 8, 9 years old, and we're still connected because of basketball, right?
yeah.
And we're good friends, and they're good people, and alhamdulillah, it's been a blessing to be with them. Um, but you were talking about a nonprofit, and you mentioned some things that you guys are working towards. Who are you guys helping? Who are you guys serving when it comes to the nonprofit? And if somebody wants to get involved, like the other brother you mentioned, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so I'll try to answer it one bit at a time. So first of all, like my legacy, the nonprofit in itself, it came into existence once me and my friends sat down and said, like, how do we better serve the community? Because, like, Alhamdulillah, you can tell in the GTA area, the Muslim population is growing day by day. Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot of people coming in. Obviously, people are expanding their families and so on. And we've realized that like the Muslim population isn't your 1%, they're your 99%, the working class
Right.
9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of challenges that they face, especially nowadays with the social economic challenges that we're getting. It's getting costly for parents to put their kids
Yeah.
through some kind of physical activity.
Right.
So we sat down and we said, okay, well, how can we collectively come together as a community to work on this problem where we can instill Islamic knowledge on these kids
Yeah.
and give them the physical activity, so then it kind of goes hand in hand with one another.
Right.
And at the time we were looking at, okay, like, why even go with the nonprofit route if we're going to do this like solution? So the one reason why we went the nonprofit route was because the opportunities that are available within the nonprofit sector, it's really large. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised. Like, for example, one of the ideas that we're working on right now, and inshallah we're hoping it gets big, we call it the after school Musalla program.
Yeah.
And what it entails is that every community in GTA has like a Musalla or a masajid, and there's families all around it. However, the challenging part is that they're having a hard time getting kids to come out to those facilities because they lack gym space.
Yeah.
Everybody says that. And they're all looking to do a multi-million dollar expansion project that takes multiple years,
Yeah.
right? Lose out a whole generation of young Muslim kids in general, and even sometimes
Right.
families too. By the
Yeah.
time the masjid or musalla is created, like there's no one literally left to like come out
Yeah.
and like be a part of it, right? So what we recognized as a nonprofit was that there's a lot of schools in these pocket communities
Yeah.
that we can rent out. And if we were to rent out a gymnasium inside these schools for 2 hours every week, so imagine 30 weeks, it would
Yeah.
be as little as buying like a French vanilla coffee from like Tim
Yeah.
Hortons,
Right.
because we are a nonprofit. And the reason why is because the government subsidizes the cost for nonprofits that are catering towards kids or even seniors. So then the after school Musalla program, we're like, okay, well, what if we made it into like a curriculum base where it's like, if you're of a certain age group, then you have to come into the Musalla or Masajid for 1 hour and do that task at hand, whether it's reading Quran, memorizing Quran, praying your salah, or volunteering your time. So then you understand how the Islamic components that you have to follow in your daily life works, and how it means to be active with your community. And in return, we give them the 2 hours of free playtime.
Yeah.
And then if there are obviously kids that are like in middle school and high school, then we want to structure it in a way where they're getting organized sports to play for free. So then we can naturally build up these basketball teams. Eventually, now, if you take a look at the 300 plus locations that are all over GTA within the 100-kilometer radius, we've naturally built up these teams that we can later cater towards our tournaments, and possibly in the future, a Musalla Sports League, where
Yeah.
the Musalla and the Masajids are the ones sending out the kids, and we don't need to go out actively looking for people saying, hey, come on board, join our tournament, and so on. The other part of our nonprofit, we are big advocates of being physically active, picking up a sport, playing on a regular basis. So not only do we cater towards kids, but we also do it towards adults, because being having a healthy lifestyle is very important nowadays, especially for young parents, because then for them to keep up with their kids, they gotta make sure
Yeah.
the knees are working, the joints are working, everything's working, right? So we host weekly drop-in programs for majority of it right now is towards the men population, but
Right.
inshallah we are working on getting some females that or sisters
Inshallah.
that can join our team, who can handle the sister side of the drop-ins, the tournaments, and so on.
Yeah.
um and like there's other things that we're also looking to do, right? Like we know that the sport community is very close to one another, like how you mentioned you have your friends that you play with on a regular basis
Yeah.
and so on. And I've always seen this in my personal experience, that I know a lot of basketball players that I play with, but my family doesn't know them and their families don't know me.
Mm,
And then we said, okay, well, what if we made it more of a social gathering as well, where families can come out, we can celebrate people's
yeah.
achievements, like almost like a Met Gala, if you want to say, but for
Yeah.
sports enthusiasts that are active with our events and programs. This way, the
Nice.
families can put a face to each other, and then it kind of brings us even more closer, where we're getting to know one another on a
Yeah.
personal level,
Right.
outside of the sport in general.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of things that we're working on, and inshallah, like as we grow, we do take on more challenges and like problems that people are bringing up, and we're saying, okay, well, let's think outside the box. Like, let's not
Yeah.
be ones who talk about problems, but rather we solve them. And
Right.
if there's someone that we can reach out to that is actually an expert or someone who has an idea of how to solve it, we approach them and we tell them, hey, look, like this is the problem. We think you're the right candidate for this to solve it. We'll give you the resources and tools for it. All you have to do is if you have 2 hours in the week where you can spend your time working on this, we'd love for you to come on board. And usually, it's word of mouth. When I talk to people, they tell people, and so on. We have a small little social media presence, so sometimes we do get people that will message us saying, "Hey, we heard about your organization. How can we get active?" And
Yeah.
alhamdulillah, now like we have our website as well, and then on there we are slowly putting out like, "Hey, like these are like some positions that may be opening up. If anybody's interested, then please join on board."
Nice.
Inshallah, we're hoping that we just completed our second year. Once we complete our third year, that's when you know that you have become serious into the nonprofit sector,
Yeah.
where you can apply for government grants, get proper fundings from like all kinds of places, which we can put towards making it into like full-time positions for some people,
Yeah.
and then pay people for the time that they're putting in to all the events and programs that we're doing.
No, it's fantastic, man. I think the initiatives are all amazing. And I really salute you guys for doing what you're doing for the community, mashallah, and keep it going. I guess to end off, why don't you just talk about the upcoming events or tournaments that are happening this year, and where they're happening, and if somebody wants to join a future tournament, where is the best place that they can find out more information about your organization?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So right now we are actually focusing on August being our biggest month. We have partnered up with our charity partner Mercy USA, and we're doing a basketball tournament that's taking place August 10th and 11th. That's geared towards our U19 crowd, our 30 plus crowd, our open age where it's a tier 1, tier 2,
Yeah.
a recreational for the people that play once a week or once a month who want to compete. And we partnered up with FIBA 3-on-3. So they're coming out, they're
Nice.
setting up the half
Uh,
court games, and it's going to be interesting. They want to test out the
yeah.
Muslim market, they want to see
Yeah.
the crowd that we can bring in.
Yeah.
And we're also doing a soccer tournament at the end of August too,
Right.
for I believe men and women. And inshallah, what we're planning to do is have 50% of the proceeds going into Mercy USA, so then they can use it for the Gaza relief program and such.
Yeah.
And if people are interested to know more about it, they can definitely hit us up on our Instagram and take a look at our handle. I think it's mylegacyinc.ca, and our website as well, www.mylegacyinc.ca. So we've kept it very consistent when it comes to that name, putting it
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic, and we'll include those handles in the captions below as well. Sartaj, thank you so much, man. This was a pleasure. We should definitely chat again. Maybe next time we'll do it on the basketball court,
Yeah,
and have a live table there. But this is going to be amazing, and all the best in your future tournaments. And I do look forward to participating in future events as well.
I appreciate it as well, man. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I'm sure you can hear all the background noise here. So
No worries,
it's good
man.
that it's ending off soon.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, all the best, brother. I wish you all the best, and good luck in the tournament coming up.
Thank you so much, man. Take care.
All right, take care, buddy.